Chapter 3 Cracks Below the Surface. On the surface, Aperture Science gleamed. The 1950s were their golden age, a whirlwind of government grants, sleek futuristic inventions, and awards piling up faster than Johnson could brag about them. The cavernous heart of the salt mine teemed with activity. Test chambers rose from the ground like metallic mushrooms, and Cave's pre-recorded voice boomed from hidden speakers, alternatively praising and berating the parade of test subjects. Amidst the controlled chaos, Carolyn thrived, yet a strange duality had settled within her. On one hand, her scientific soul hummed with excitement, fueled by Aperture's audacious leaps and seemingly infinite resources. But another part of her, a more cautious voice, whispered unease. The quantum tunneling device was a prime example. Its shimmering prototypes promised wonders, but there were glitches, whispers of test subjects who, well, didn't quite materialize where they should. Cave, however, brushed these aside with a booming,
"Progress takes sacrifice. Those eggheads will figure it out."
His words always held sway. He had that maddening mix of bluster and unshakable belief, making doubts seem like mere bumps on the road to greatness. Yet, the sacrifices kept mounting. Test subjects, men and women promised fame and glory, were often left with lingering ailments, unhealed injuries, or more troubling, blank spaces in their memories. When Carolyn voiced her concerns, Cave would counter.
"Carolyn, those folks signed up for glory, got a taste of the future, helped America stay ahead."
Then, he'd throw in a wink and a disarming grin. After all, she was part of this too. Every equation she solved, every system she optimized, propelled them towards their shared dream. The Olympians started vanishing mid-test, the astronauts complaining of disorientation so severe it grounded them. Even the war heroes returned with a haunted look in their eyes. The gleaming walls of Aperture held darker secrets now. Carolyn would lose sleep, her unease mingling with a strange, thrilling anticipation. Cave would roar to Carolyn, raising his glass high.
"Someday, Aperture will cure cancer, conquer gravity. All thanks to those brave few, to our Carolyn. And yours truly, of course."
And Carolyn would raise her own glass. Her smile might waver, but it was still there. She shared his ambition, fueled by the same desire to break boundaries. And if there were a few cracks on the way to a brighter future, well, perhaps that was the price of progress. At Aperture Science, ethics weren't much of an obstacle, a price she was strangely willing to accept, as long as Cave's indomitable confidence remained. By the 1960s, Aperture's financial boom period had passed. Countless products were stuck in the testing phase, while others had to be yanked from shelves for grotesque violations of health and safety regulations. The boundless money of the previous decade had dwindled, leaving a hunger for results and a decline in Cave Johnson's reputation. Once hailed as a visionary, he was now the whispered about eccentric, chasing ever more outlandish schemes. Aperture's problem wasn't a lack of ideas. It was Cave Johnson's increasingly unhinged imagination and a complete lack of restraint. Take, for instance, the notion of injecting praying mantis DNA into test subjects in hopes of creating mantis men. This bizarre experiment was eventually postponed indefinitely and alarmingly replaced with the idea of forcing test subjects to fight an army of actual mantis men. There was the invisible laser, meant to turn subjects' blood into gasoline. The practicality of this was never explained. And the ill-advised scheme to transform excrement into coal. Perhaps the most concerning was the plan to point a superconductor at test subjects, with absolutely no goal in mind.
"We're throwing science at the wall here, seeing what sticks,"
Johnson declared in a leaked recording. He even acknowledged that the best-case scenario would be the test subject gaining superpowers, while the worst case involved rapid tumor growth and a promise of expensive tumor removal. It was a testament to the era's chaotic atmosphere that such reckless ideas were even humored, let alone actively pursued. All the while, their greatest rival, Black Mesa Laboratories, saw unprecedented success. Their methodical approach and carefully tested results drew government funding like moths to a flame. Aperture's funding dwindled in comparison, a direct reflection of the rushed and chaotic atmosphere that had replaced their once renowned dedication to groundbreaking science. Yet, he refused to fold.
"Temporary setback,"
He'd bellow, stomping through the cavernous facility, his once immaculate suit now rumpled. Carolyn, ever practical, started tightening budgets and streamlining protocols, but even her efficiency couldn't mask the growing cracks in their empire. The heart of the problem lay deep within Test Shaft 09. Those lower levels, hastily sealed off in 1961, now pulsed with an unspoken dread. Test subjects, fewer in number and increasingly desperate, disappeared through sleek chamber doors, but not all reappeared when expected. Rumors swirled of impossible technologies gone wrong, of shortcuts taken in the desperate scramble to stay ahead. Carolyn's voice of reason grew fainter. Cave's desperation fueled a recklessness she'd never seen before.
They signed waivers, damn it!
He'd roar whenever she hesitated, and while part of her knew he was right, another part recoiled. The missing astronaut scandal of 1968 landed them in front of a stony-faced Senate committee. Aperture Science clung to existence by a thread, and that thread was fraying fast. Johnson, however, remained defiant. His booming promises of moon rocks harvested for energy production, and robots replacing every job grew wilder with each passing day. Carolyn, exhausted and disillusioned, now found herself fighting a quiet battle for the soul of Aperture. The bustling facility of their glory days seemed to shrink. Laughter echoed less frequently, replaced by the relentless ticking of clocks, and perhaps the counting down of time. Aperture Science wasn't just a company anymore. It was the grand stage where ambition and desperation were locked in a perilous, spiraling dance.